we got to start with the Manchester Derby.
Of course.
Come on, you knew this
Of
was
course,
coming, right?
Of course.
All right, I want to go out. We've been critical of Ten Hag and whatever. One thing which is not fair for anybody to do is to say he's unwilling to try different things in search for a solution. Because when I saw that lineup and the way they set up with essentially without a center forward, with Rashford or Garnacho cutting from wide areas, I was like, at least you're doing something. You're doing something different. You're trying to throw them a curveball.
Yeah.
And they took the lead, and admittedly it was a worldie and 0.000.
Yeah, you can try 99 times, you will never score again.
Okay, but for a while,
Yeah.
yeah,
it
love
worked.
for Ten Hag.
Listen, if you're asking me if I'm a fan of the 4-6-0, I'm not. This was a 4-6-0. I am not. I will tell you again that Huddersfield had more shot when it came to the Etihad than United, or as many. Sheffield United had more shot. Young Boys had more possession than United when they went to the Etihad.
And when he says young boys, he doesn't mean the team from Bern who play in the Champions League. He just means a bunch of young boys that they found outside Old Trafford.
So there was some... the setup was all really he could do because of all the injuries that they had and everything. They still played quite negatively. I know there were times where a better pass or a better touch would have put them in a decent... But there was not that pass and there was not that touch. So in the end, 3 shots, 24% of the ball. I'm sorry, 0.25 expected goals. This is not enough for me. Other teams have gone to the Etihad this season who are worse than United, even with all those injuries, and played better and had more chances and scored more goals. And from Crystal Palace to all the other teams that I mentioned. So... yeah, it was not bad and it worked for a time. But in the end, they could have lost 6-1 easily because Haaland could have scored 2, Foden could have scored another 2. So...
so if Foden scores another 2 and Haaland scores another 2, it's actually 7-1.
But you see what I mean? I understand the setup. That's all he could do. But don't give me this was a great, strong performance from them. He said we had a good game, he said. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I bring some notes. I don't have them about like the stupid things he says after games. And
Always.
I don't understand. Why would you just come out, just take it on the chin, say, hey, we had a bunch of guys out.
Yeah.
We we're in this situation now. We played in midweek. They're a lot better than we are. They've got better players. They have more money. They have fit players. They have a better manager. Just come out and own it, right?
Exactly. I know.
We tried this game plan. We got maybe a bit of luck, and that's it. And he got himself a yellow card.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. Yeah.
Right, and then he was also unhappy there was a penalty incident as well. And I'm like, dude, anybody if you really watch the game, don't bring up this nonsense.
I mean, the Walker on Rashford, for him to get yellow for that is ridiculous because that's obviously never a foul. The penalty, Ederson gets the ball first. It's a tough challenge. It's a tough tackle. I just don't think because he takes the ball first that you can give anything else than nothing really, than the throw in.
Well, it's not reckless, right? And in England especially, if you get to the ball first, unless you endanger an opponent, which he didn't do.
No, it's a side tackle, so
right?
It's not from behind.
So it's silly to even, I think, to even bring those things up.
But I can understand the frustration because for so long I think they thought they were going to get points.
But I almost feel like, the idea is you get a point, so then it builds a bit of faith, and you still know that there's an abyss. And part of me turns us around and says, look, City are a lot better. And you knew that ahead of time. I'm not saying this was a scheduled defeat because it's a derby. You never want it to be a scheduled defeat. But at least you were in the game because City missed chances.
Yeah.
But to me, the other big takeaway is City are just unflappable, right? A goal down, Haaland misses chances, Foden misses chances. He can change a thing. I don't even know when his first...
Yeah, Doku came off.
It was like at the hour 50, mark, right?
Yeah, just before the hour mark.
But there's just such a confidence in this City side. And when they're like this, it's really, really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and also against a team that will defend for 90 minutes. You can't defend for 90 minutes in the Premier League against nobody, not even less City away at the Etihad. And you're going to make mistakes because you lose energy, you just the awareness and everything. And that's exactly what happened.
All right, Jules, let's continue with this mental exercise of Ten Hag. Because we mentioned it in passing. I'm not going to list all the injuries, but it's a billion.
Yeah.
When I see Johnny Evans out there, I think to myself, really? But then I also think to myself, obviously, there's no Lisandro. There's even no Maguire.
Yeah, sure.
There's no Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw played center back.
He would have played that in that game, yeah.
Well, there's Varane, who he didn't like. Remember the whole period when Varane was on the naughty step? The fullbacks, I know Lindelof. I don't understand. Phil Foden has a dominant foot, right?
Yeah.
Very obviously. 3 times, one of them the goal, 3 times in that game, Foden does the same move where he steps as if he's going to go to the byline. It's almost like, I just show him to the byline.
I know.
And deal with it.
If
you can't beat him one-on-one, right?
I know.
And then every time he goes inside, and Lindelof turns with like the speed of like a super tanker.
Yeah.
These are little things, and I appreciate you're not a fullback and whatever, but come on.
Yeah, and it's just, it's not even doing...
That's not Ten Hag's fault.
No, it's not, and it's not even doing the homework like you should do before every game. Okay, who am I going to face? Why? His qualities, blah, blah. Because surely if you're Lindelof and you've been in this country long enough, you know what Phil Foden is about, and you know that he plays on your side, so this is what he's going to do. So unless he thought Mainu or Casemiro will always come in and help him out on the inside, which is very possible. So you're there in case he comes onto his right foot, you're there. And if he comes inside onto his left,
somebody's going to come pick it up.
One of the 2-6s has to come, which is fair enough, which is normal. But still, like you said, you can show him on the outside and let him go towards the byline instead of coming inside onto his left foot. So I don't know. I don't understand that. I don't understand the Amrabat mistake. The guy just come on.
That's not Ten Hag's.
That's not Ten Hag's. No. So the limitations of this team is not just on Ten Hag. I was just saying that for me to plan to defend for 90 minutes is impossible. You just cannot do that at this level, and especially even less when you go away at the Etihad against City.
Right. So, okay.
Because in the end, you get battered. So you would have had you tried to play, you probably would have got battered again, but at least you would have tried to play it. And we go back to other teams who have gone to the Etihad and have exploited some of the defensive fragilities, let's call it that way, of City, like we saw on the first goal. Put more pressure on the defense instead of playing that 4-6-0 or even sometimes 6-4-0 for most of the game.
But you go back to the same point, right? Options, because I've been saying it forever since the start of the season. Haaland, you're going to season Haaland and Martial. You're going to be short
for sure.
He'd played Rashford through the middle in the previous games. Rashford was not good.
No.
He started Rashford wide in this game. Rashford scored a great goal. A couple times he got free, but also I thought was generally impalpable. Objectively, if I were Ten Hag and say, Jules, since you're so clever, what am I supposed to do? I have this guy who's rubbish when he plays through the middle, so I have to play him wide. Garnacho is not a forward. I got to play him wide on the other side.
No, I understand.
I don't have a center forward but my best player happens to be a guy who plays number 10. So I don't even have, in Bruno, I don't even have the option of saying, oh, Bruno, you play center forward, because he can't do that, right? And because then I completely take him out of the game and I lose his passing. What should I do? Should I have played McTominay at center forward? I was actually thinking about this,
For example, I don't know. I
Like
understand. That's what the limitation.
Right?
No, but realistically,
it's horrendously put. And if you, by the way, if you play Rashford and Garnacho, right? And even if there's some other dude at center forward, Amari Forson, I haven't seen enough of him to know if his real position is center forward or it's wide or whatever, right? Even if I play this dude at center forward, right? And then I'm obviously going to play Bruno.
Yeah.
I'm going to get completely overrun because the other two guys, Casemiro and Maino, can't control City's midfield on their own. So I don't want to say it's lose, but it's just such a badly constructed team.
I'm
not going to be a Ten Hag defender, right?
No, it is. I would have never played McTominay in a game like this. I would rather Ahmad to play on the right, for example. I would have played Rashford in the centre and just play him on the shoulder of
But he doesn't want to do that, and he's not good at that.
I know, but in that space. And I think the fact, Bruno as a false 9 is not a bad idea, as we saw on the goal, although we're going to discuss the goal and debrief the goal that United score. But the problem by having Bruno so high in a way up the pitch is that he's also your best passer. So you almost need it. You almost need it like deeper to be able to ping those balls in behind of the high line of City for Garnacho, for Rashford, for Ahmad, for whoever, Anthony, whoever you want to play there. So I know it was always going to be difficult tactically. I'm just not keen on teams ready to defend for 90 minutes. That's it.
I wonder, I mean, if I was to ask you who is City's second best passer of the guys who started, you probably said Kobbie Mainoo, right?
Yeah,
which,
maybe Casemiro.
Yeah, you know, which I think says a lot, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder, I was surprised Diallo didn't come on. I think Diallo's, you know, I want to see what he can do.
He's better than Forson, so I don't understand why Forson. Probably better than Anthony as well.
I did wonder a little bit if the issue, if you wanted, I mean, but then it's going in a different direction, right? And you're second guessing. But if you needed another passer on the pitch, could there have been a scenario where you find room for Eriksen?
Yeah, maybe. But if the idea is to play...
Or maybe even at 1-0, maybe that's when you have Eriksen where you try to keep the ball a little bit, force some tactical fouls or something, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, if the idea was to try to exploit the high line, which they didn't really do much, then I think another passer would have been clever. And then you would have made your forwards, whoever they are, run in behind and try again and try again. It doesn't matter if you offside 7 times. One time is going to work out.
Well, you say that, and to be fair to Ten Hag, and you talk about exploiting the high line. There's the 3 incidents, right? The one where Garnacho's free, and again, neither of us think it was a penalty, but Garnacho gets there a split second earlier. He's around Ederson, and you got a chance on goal.
Yeah.
The Walker on Rashford. My issue with Rashford is, okay, I know everybody goes on about how fast Walker is and blah, blah, blah. But come on, Rashford, you've got a head start on him. You're 26 years old. I expect you to either draw the foul, like a legitimate foul, not whatever, or to be able to get in front of them.
But when he goes down, he can still get to the ball. That's why I'm struggling to understand, because if the ball was too far and he's trying to get the foul, fair enough. But when he goes down, the ball has gone to his side, not Walker's side. So there's Walker, Rashford, and then the ball. So he can still get to the ball instead of going down.
That's surprising. Look, obviously he's had a really difficult season.
No, I understand that.
I think his image isn't helped by part of what's happened, that Players Tribune thing. Like, I understand what you're trying to do, but I think it's completely tone deaf in this context.
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting the best advice media-wise. And it's missing from United. It's missing because he's one of United's leaders. You know, he's the local kid. Let's talk about City a little bit because, again, I thought they were very, very good. The misses aside. All right, you want to get the Haaland miss out of the way. Ha, 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 look, you know.
The thing I would say, the ball is quite high.
Yeah, but come on.
The ball is quite high.
He's 8 feet tall.
It doesn't matter. The ball is quite high.
Yeah, you know what? There's something called gravity. If the ball's high, it's going to come back down.
But then if he waits a bit more, the defender comes in and clears it. So that the only thing I would say to
he's like a sideboard. The defender comes. You
don't go there with his feet. Then he should have gone with his head or with his chest or with his.
That's what I would say. Looking back, he probably might have gone.
It was quite high, but yeah, he should have scored.
Whatever. You expect him to score, right? Okay, you get out of the way. The guy scores chances. He misses chances. That's fine. Yeah. In the end, the chances he scores are so many, and the positions he gets in are so many that I know you have an issue for with it. You were nitpicking. We've nitpicked all season about the defense, and you're pretty obvious. You're up against Bruno. You can't let the ball from the Rashford goal. You can't let the ball bounce.
Yeah, and I mean the goal they considered at Brentford when they still won, when Foden scored the hat-trick. I think it's the worst goal they've conceded this season by far. It's a goal kick from Flecken, and Tony blocks. I think it's Ake, and then the ball bounces, goes all the way, and Mopé goes one-on-one and scores. This one is slightly different, although the idea is the same. It's a long ball from Onana that you should. I mean, I think when you start playing football, whether you're 5, 6, 7 years old, whatever, it doesn't matter. They teach you that you cannot let the ball bounce. So if someone kicks the ball long, whether it's a goal kick, a goalkeeper clearance, a free, anything, you just don't let it bounce because then you're in trouble. And I cannot understand how Diaz let that ball bounce. And then Bruno does really, really well holding up the ball and waiting for Rashford to arrive. And the Rashford shot is magnificent. But the ball should never be allowed to bounce on that. And it's, I mean, again, Diaz at his level, City as a team should never allow that.
And even then, especially because it's Bruno, who's super skillful, but he's a little fella.
Yeah.
In the physical battle shouldn't be an issue.
I just think it's a bit of naivety maybe, and I think they take it too easy at times. So they think, we'll be fine. And I think this one and the Brentford goal are two dreadful mistakes.
They did end up with a stupid XG. I think Guardiola's aware of the defensive things that come up.
Yeah.
Given Liverpool been running on fumes with all the injuries and the chaos, and then we'll get to their game later. Do you have City as favourites, despite the fact that they're a point back?
Yeah. Well, it's next weekend, favourite on field. For the rest of the season, even if their goal difference is not as good, obviously, as we mentioned, then the other two. For now, there's still a long way to go. But for now,
I think for me to change my opinion, I need to see Liverpool. Liverpool have to continue winning until the injured guys come back. And I think obviously we saw Szoboszlai, who, as you know, I'm a huge Sobo guy. He came off the bench. In that game, Curtis Jones is on his way back, who I think they really missed him. Obviously, Mohamed Salah will be back before or after the international break. Some dispute with Egypt, but whatever. That'll get resolved. If they can not drop points until the injured guy, just hang in there until the cavalry comes. Then we may have a battle on our hands. Otherwise, it's just looking.
But then we kept thinking that Liverpool would drop points, and they still haven't.
And they haven't. It's the little Klopp stardust.
But when you see Foden in that kind of form, in the best season of his career, I think Rodri is still unbeaten in 59 games in all competition, which is an incredible record in Premier League era. It's just you wonder how and who will stop City really this season.
Maybe Klopp.